She's a woman!
Uh-oh, she got a holler.
Action. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, where ancient grudge... Okay. Hey, everybody, it's Miz Cracker, and you are here for Billboard Pride. We about to spill the tea. Today, we are going to talk about drag and popular culture. Here is my question for you ladies.
Yeah?
Almost 50 years after nobody died at Stonewall.
People don't know what Stonewall is. You know what I mean?
Why don't you tell everybody what that is?
That was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed?
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Queer culture is on the global main stage, and my question is, have we reached like a limit for drag? Have we come so far that the bubble's gonna burst and there can't be any more queens? Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not, because every queen is different. It's like every little snowflake is absolutely perfect in its own way.
Yeah.
I think every queen represents a different part of the entire spectrum.
Right.
So as long as there are new queens coming up that are offering something different, of course there's going to be a space for them as well.
Right.
And I feel like as long as there are little boys and girls out there that love putting on makeup and wigs and just celebrating being extra,
Yeah.
drag will still live on. It's just a celebration of just being more than what you see on your driver's
Absolutely.
license. you know?
And also, we've been around for centuries. Let's
Right.
do our history lesson.
That's true.
That's very true.
That's
I
right.
mean, what is it? King Henry VII, right? Originally, like, outlawed men from dressing on stage, and that's kind of how drag got started because all these men had only learned to act as women on stage in the Shakespearean plays. So when they didn't have a job anymore, they started working in bars and different pubs to try to make a living.
Wasn't that what we all do too? We try to make a living, so we'll put on a
Thank you,
wig.
Henry. Thank you.
Also, geishas were originally men. Geishas
Yeah.
in Japan.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Gender
Wikipedia
performance
this.
goes back far.
Right. Come on, gender
Indigenous
performance.
culture.
But I think the question is like, it's so popular right now.
Yeah.
There are like 3 television shows about it. There are these huge drag con conventions where you have like 50,000 people coming through.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna hold at that level? Or do you think
yes.
it's gonna...
Well, I think like
so.
anything else in the world, it's going to ebb and flow.
Yeah.
But I think that we have kind of reached our own spot. We've come into our own.
Right.
Within regular culture, you know?
Well, obviously, we've been really big in LGBTQ entertainment industries, but now we're branching over into a mainstream segment where a lot of our fans are now heterosexual women, including men and their families, and any kind of cisgendered in between.
Yeah.
So now we're broadening to a whole new spectrum of people that haven't been doing drag the last 20 or 30 years. So I think it's just now starting to get good.
All right.
It's about to be freaking crazy.
I guess the answer is to continue recruiting new audiences to the drag army.
Oh, we
And
don't have to do that.
Yeah, girl. Hello, somebody. We are many and we are mighty. So thank you guys so much.
I actually have another question. How has RuPaul's Drag Race impacted the local drag?
Well, you know, I always like to tell the girls when I'm traveling, I'm like, I am a local queen. When I go home to Florida, I'm still a local girl.
Right.
So I've obviously said, sorry, girl.
No, it's like I was like trying to like subtly do it, and then I was just like, oh no, she wanted to be
Oh,
there
there's
with you.
nothing subtle about it, girl. Just knock me over. But I think that, you know, having all of us have experienced both sides of that coin.
Right.
I think that the only difference between local drag and RuPaul's Drag Race drag is the fact that we've been given such an incredible platform.
Yeah.
So more people know who we are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from anything that the local girls do, because I feel like some of the best drag out there is undiscovered. And it's just
absolutely.
waiting for its moment.
I think local drag, there's something that is so pure about local drag because you aren't making shit. And every single dollar you make goes back into a costume or a wig. You sacrifice eating a sandwich. You sacrifice paying your rent.
I never sacrifice eating a sandwich.
I'm speaking for myself.
I just eat 10 bags of ramen instead of a sandwich.
You know? Because it's like, even in these small bars, it's your opportunity to feel like a superstar, you know? And then Drag Race just helps to bring that fantasy into more of a reality because, you know, like you said, you get the platform.
Yeah.
But there is something that I do miss about those days where it was just like that dirty, glamorous hustle because you did it
That's
just for
why-
the pure love of drag.
Girl, I will never turn down a booking, and when I'm home in Orlando, I don't care if they offer me to work for tips. I will show up and do it because it brings you back to that place of really loving what you do and just being excited about it.
Also, I think you see in local drag, you see people try new things that for some reason, if you stick with like the national queens, you don't see those creative ideas in the same way. You're so glad when you are at a local show because there's always something fresh, and I could never let that go. I need to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I randomly just did a gig this past week where I was at my home bar and I hadn't been there in months. And I literally promoted it like 2 days before I was there. And everyone that I had worked with for years came out. So it was super fun. But I just remember feeling so empowered and comfortable there more than anywhere that I travel to work. You know, because my family and my friends that believed in me regardless of Drag Race was there.
Yeah.
So there's something special about local drag in the sense that you have your community that supports you locally, you know, and that's what's incredible. You are still famous, maybe not on the level that Drag Race is famous, but you're famous to that community that you represent locally.
Oh, right.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's also very important that the local audiences keep in mind that it's important to support your local girls. Because without supporting girls like us when we were local, we never would have had the resources or the opportunities to go for RuPaul's Drag Race.
They get the
sitting all here
support,
together.
which is nice.
Yeah.
The local girls, they still get the support, which is nice.
Yeah. Thankfully.
It's kind of like you can't, if you say, I love music, you can't only listen to Ariana Grande. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have
I'm
to,
sorry. Whoa.
You have to
Maybe
throw
you
in a
don't
little
love
Justin
music.
Bieber.
Do you know what I mean?
Into you. I'm sorry.
Okay, you can only listen to that song. Maybe Ariana Grande is a bad example.
I still have it on repeat. It's 2 years later. It just celebrated its 2-year anniversary literally
That's
days
because
ago.
you can't get your car fixed, girl. That's a different issue.
You ain't gotta be spilling my tea like that.
No, this is called Spillin the
Jam.
Tea.
It's a cassette.
Leave my
jam.
93 Plymouth Neon alone.
Somebody. All I'm saying is, like, if you love something, you love all of it. And if you say you love drag, you should be out at the bars, you should be watching Drag Race, you should be on Instagram, you should be everywhere, not just thinking that it's one thing.
We remember those people. We remember those supporters.
Yeah. And even if it's not your cup of tea, every particular performance, you should be able to find something within every queen and everything that they do that you can appreciate.
Yeah,
even
that's
if you don't
right.
like it, you can appreciate it.
Because it
somebody.
takes strength just to get up there. We're taught that from day one.
Every flower belongs in the garden.
Every flower belongs in the garden.
I love
don't
that.
see walking children in nature.
There you go.
Get up and fight. That's right, cause there may not be a later. If we don't do something right now, we won't be walking children in nature. That's right, we won't be walking children in nature.
Give me the pruning shears.
All right, everybody. So I guess the lesson here is support all kinds of drag.
Yeah.
Even locally.
That's right.
Especially locally. Locally sourced.
Is this,
Yes,
it's like, is
especially
this
locally.
drag queen local?
Instead of calling
Organically
girls
fed.
local queens, can we call them organic?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Organic queen.
organic.
Farm
That's
to table.
Grassroots. Grassroots drag.
Sitting on your nuts.
Sit. No, not. It's just this in here. Ooh.
Sitting on my
It's a hip
nutsack.
Hello, somebody.